I was at a private dinner on the Upper East Side several years ago, the kind of evening where everyone at the table had achieved something real, and the conversation moved accordingly. And there was a woman seated across from me who I found myself studying for most of the meal without fully understanding why. Her outfit was simple, her accessories were minimal, and yet she was the most visually compelling person in the room. I finally identified what I was responding to on the walk home. Every single accessory she wore was doing a specific, precise job. Nothing was decorative in the vague sense. Everything was placed, scaled, and chosen with an intention that I could feel before I could articulate. She was not wearing accessories. She was using them. Most women treat accessories as finishing touches, the last thing added before leaving the house. The women who consistently read as elegant treat them as structural decisions. Those are not the same approach, and the gap between them is exactly what today's 5 rules close. Before we get into it, I have a free gift for you. I've read a lot of comments asking for this, so I built a checklist around it. The Elegant Morning Routine Checklist, 12 rituals of women who are timeless, healthy, and undeniable after 40. It is the morning architecture that puts everything I described today into daily practice. Cortisol protection, protein-first nutrition, movement, silence, grooming standards, and the identity rituals that make all of it sustainable. Every page is a deliberate act of self-respect. See the first link in the description below to grab it right now for free, or scan the QR code on your screen if you're watching on TV. When you get it, remember to email me your feedback. I love reading those emails. Now let's get into today's 5. Rule 1. An accessory's first job is to frame the face. Most women choose accessories by asking whether they complement the outfit, whether the metal matches, whether the color works, whether the piece feels right with the look as a whole. I'm going to show you that is the second question. The first question is one most women have never been taught to ask. But before I give you the resolve, there is something you need to understand about how the eye actually reads a dressed figure. Visual perception research on face framing has established that the human eye, when assessing a woman's appearance, returns to the face more frequently than to any other element of the body, and specifically to the zone between the top of the head and the collarbone. This zone is where accessories live: earrings, necklaces, scarves, collar detailing. And the perceptual rule governing this zone is spatial ratio, the relationship between the scale of the accessory and the scale of the face it sits beside. A stylist I worked with during my years consulting for American luxury brands explained this to me with a precision I have never forgotten. She said, "There is an exact proportional window in which an accessory reads as belonging to the face, and outside that window it either disappears or overwhelms. Too small, and the accessory reads as an afterthought, which makes the face itself read as unconsidered. Too large, and the accessory reads as costume, which makes the face recede behind it. The face should always win. The accessory should make the face win." The spatial ratio she described is this: the widest point of the accessory should not exceed the width of the eye socket at its greatest span for anything worn above the collarbone. For earrings specifically, this means the drop should not extend below the jaw unless the face is long enough to carry that length without visual interruption of the jaw's line. Resolve. Before choosing an accessory for a specific face position, hold it at that position and assess not whether it looks beautiful in isolation, but whether your face is winning the visual conversation. If your eye goes to the piece before it goes to your face, the scale is wrong. The piece serves the face. The face does not serve the piece. But here's where most people stop, getting the scale right for stationary accessories while wearing a scarf in a way that is quietly working against the entire silhouette. Rule 2. The most common scarf mistake has nothing to do with the knot. Most women who have been told they are wearing a scarf incorrectly are given advice about technique, a different knot, a looser drape, a new fold. I'm going to show you that technique is rarely the problem. The problem is almost always the fabric. But first, understand what fabric behavior and movement is actually communicating to the eye. The human visual system is acutely responsive to movement, specifically to how fabric moves in relation to the body beneath it. Fabrics that have significant weight and drape, cashmere, modal, fine wool, heavyweight silk, move with the body, following its momentum and returning smoothly to place. They read as an extension of the body. Fabrics that are stiff, light, or tightly woven, certain polyester blends, chiffon, synthetic crepe, resist movement or flutter independently of the body, creating visual interruption between the fabric and the body beneath it. That visual interruption reads, subconsciously, as the fabric wearing the woman rather than the woman wearing the fabric. I spent 15 years watching how women in genuinely elevated circles handled scarves and neck pieces. Without exception, the women whose scarves read as elegant were wearing fabric with sufficient weight to drape. A fine cashmere square, a heavyweight silk oblong. The scarf moved with them. It did not separate from them. A fashion director I worked alongside once said something I still think about. A scarf should look like it chose you, not like it was placed on you. Resolve. Before purchasing or wearing a scarf, hold it by one end and let it fall. It should drape cleanly, with weight pulling it into a smooth column. If it billows, flutters, or holds its own shape away from your hand, it will do the same away from your body. Choose weight. Choose drape. The knot is entirely secondary to what the fabric is doing on its own. But here's where most people stop, managing the upper body while making a proportional error in the middle that the eye catches immediately. Rule 3. Matching your belt to your shoes is costing you height. This is the rule that surprises most women when I explain it, because belt-shoe matching has been taught as a standard of polish for so long that questioning it feels counterintuitive. I'm going to show you the specific body proportion scenario in which it works against you. But first, understand the visual mechanism involved. The eye reads a dressed figure by tracking horizontal and vertical lines. A belt, by definition, creates a horizontal interruption at the waist. When that belt is matched in color to the shoes, creating a matching horizontal at the waist and a matching anchor at the hem, the eye is directed to connect those 2 points explicitly, reading the distance between them as the total torso to hip measurement. On a figure with a naturally long torso, this connection flatters. On a figure with a shorter or average length torso, it compresses the visual reading of the midsection and subtracts perceived height. An art history principle I encountered at Columbia that has stayed with me in unexpectedly practical ways is this. A repeated element in a composition does not double the impact. It creates a closed circuit. The eye moves between the 2 matching elements and stops exploring. In the context of a dressed figure, a belt-shoe color match closes the visual circuit at the waist and the foot, leaving the torso trapped between them rather than allowed to read as full length. Resolve. Rather than matching your belt to your shoes, match your belt to your trousers or skirt, or as close to that tone as possible. This creates a continuous vertical line from waist to hem, elongating the torso rather than interrupting it. Reserve belt-shoe matching for occasions where a shortened torso is specifically not a concern, or where the visual circuit is desirable for other compositional reasons. When in doubt, the belt disappears into the bottom half. That is always the more elegant choice, which is exactly what the Undeniables Complete System covers in detail. 7 complete guides, including identity, presence, first impressions, social mastery, wellness, standards, and your morning ritual. Everything the most elegant, vital, and undeniable version of you needs, built into one system, for less than a dinner out. It's linked in the description below. But here's where most people stop, managing proportion, while overlooking the one quality that communicates value from across a room before anyone has come close enough to see the details. Rule 4. Quality is visible at distance because touch is visible at distance. This is the point most women find counterintuitive, and I want to take the time to explain the mechanism fully before I give you the resolve. Because once you understand it, you will never evaluate an accessory in a store again without applying it. There is a field within visual neuroscience called haptic visual processing, the brain's ability to predict tactile experience from visual information alone. Research from University College London found that the brain's somatosensory cortex, the region that processes touch, activates measurably when the eye observes a textured surface, even without physical contact. The brain is running a touch simulation from visual data. And the quality of that simulation, how clearly the brain can predict the tactile experience is what registers as perceived quality from a distance. Materials with high visual texture information, the grain of genuine leather, the nap of cashmere, the luster variation of real silk, the weight-implied drape of quality metal hardware, give the brain enough data to complete a rich tactile simulation. Materials with low texture information, smooth synthetic leather, flat woven polyester, lightweight hollow hardware, give the brain insufficient data, and the simulation comes back ambiguous. Ambiguous tactile prediction reads as low quality. Rich tactile prediction reads as high quality. At 20 feet, before anyone has touched anything. Resolve: when evaluating any accessory for purchase, ask not whether it looks good, but whether it looks tactile. Does the surface communicate its own texture clearly? Can you predict what it would feel like before touching it? If you cannot, the person across the room cannot either, and they will read it as low quality before they know why. But here's where most people stop, selecting quality pieces and then neutralizing their effect with a failure mode that is rarely discussed but consistently observable. Rule 5. The failure mode of restraint is as real as the failure mode of excess. Here is the final rule, the one that completes the framework and corrects the most common mistake made by women who already understand elegance well enough to be cautious about overdoing it. There is a perceptual principle in design called visual completion, the brain's need to resolve a composition into a finished state. When a dressed figure lacks a deliberate accessory at any of its primary visual zones, face frame, waist, wrist, or bag, the brain registers incompletion. And incompletion reads not as restraint, but as unfinished. The distinction matters enormously because unfinished reads as unconsidered. And unconsidered, in the context of how sophisticated observers assess a woman, reads as a lack of intentionality, which is the opposite of what restraint was meant to convey. I think often about the woman at the dinner I described at the opening of this video. She was wearing 3 accessories, only 3, but each one occupied a specific visual zone deliberately, and each one was chosen with sufficient weight and quality that the brain registered completeness immediately. There was nothing more to add, but there was also nothing missing. That balance, not the minimalism itself, was what read as elegant. A woman I have known for years who sits on several corporate boards told me she applies a completion test to every outfit before leaving the house. She stands in front of the mirror and asks, "Is there a zone where my eye keeps returning looking for something that isn't there? If yes, something belongs there. If no, she is done." It takes 30 seconds. It is the most efficient elegance practice I have ever observed. The complete framework. Choose accessories that make the face win the visual conversation. Scale serves the face, not the outfit. Choose scarf fabric by its drape and weight, not its pattern or color. Match your belt to your bottoms, not your shoes, to preserve torso length. Select accessories whose surfaces communicate their tactile quality visually at a distance. And apply a completion test, not a minimalism test, before you leave the house, ensuring every primary visual zone is resolved rather than left open. The woman at that dinner was practicing all 5 simultaneously. That is why I could not stop watching her. Once you know what to look for, you cannot unsee it. You now have the 5 rules that separate an accessory worn as decoration from an accessory used as architecture, and you have them for free. And if you are ready to take everything I teach on this channel and build it into a complete system, the Undeniable's Complete System covers this in complete detail, a blueprint for habits, presence, wellness, and longevity science for women who are decided about how they age. Linked in the description below, or scan the QR code on your screen. It is for the woman who is no longer waiting. The next video builds directly on this, because accessories are only one dimension of the impression you make, and I want to give you the rest. Stay subscribed. The women who show up to this channel consistently are the ones who actually change. I'll see you in the next one. Isabel.